pretty safe to say that Forza Motorsport 6 was one of the best entries into the franchise in recent years, and the best on next gen. Forza Motorsport 5 was a huge step backward in the series, and Turn 10 did their best to try to make things right with fans in the latest installment. There's no such thing as perfect though, and with Forza Motorsport firmly planted on the Xbox One, now is the time for the series to expand even further. I'm MrAeroHD, and these are 5 things that Forza Motorsport should add into Forza Motorsport 7. Keep in mind this is just my opinion. I am a drifter more so than a racer, but I tried to make this list broad enough to apply to everybody. Also, they're really not in any particular order because I couldn't be asked to figure out what order I wanted them in. And lastly, if you're sitting there like, Arrow, why do you sound so weird? So scripted? It's because this is fucking scripted, idiot. I want to be able to put my thoughts into more of an organized format instead of just going, I don't know, seems good, or rambling on for 45 minutes about something that didn't matter and then repeating it over and over again. Anywho, here we go. Number 1, cars and tracks. Yeah, sit down, shut up. Y'all knew this was coming, but let me elaborate a little. Everyone always wants more tracks. Can never have enough of those, but specifically I'm looking for tracks that have been in previous Forza Motorsport titles but didn't make the jump to Xbox One and beyond. Maple Valley, Fujimi Kaido, Iberian, Camino, Ladera, whatever you want to call it. Even the test tracks with King Cobra and Copperhead were really fun to drive and drift on. Turn 10 were banging out some of the best original circuits on consoles, even rivaling some of those from the Gran Turismo series. However, when moving to Xbox One, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only thing that really carried over were Bernese Alps. I may be in the minority, but I think that was one of the weaker entries of what Turn 10 had to offer from original circuits. I understand that maybe it's because they're going for more of a simulator vibe and wanted more licensed facilities, but when your community is screaming for Maple Valley and Fujimi Kaido to come back, maybe it's time to listen. On the subject of licensed tracks, are we just gonna pretend Japan sunk or something? Tsukuba, Suzuka, Motegi all just gone? Now, I know a lot of people are going to point the finger and haul out some sort of, you're a JDM drift fanboy, you big nerd loser doo-doo head bullshit, but listen, hear me out. Where in Forza 6 is it really fun to race some of the lower powered cars? Where do we take the Fiat 500s of the car list to? Spa? Le Mans? I mean, there are some places, Watkins Glen Short springs to mind, but Tsukuba was a great small scale course for that. And yeah, okay, drifting's fun, alright? Leave me alone. And for those who are going to come out saying, it's a licensing issue, they made us pay for Porsche how many times? And they were told that's one of the most difficult licenses to get because they had to buy it off of EA, and you want to tell me this is a licensing issue? They can figure something out. I believe in you as developers. You have the power, the finances, and the technology. Do it. And as for new content, I don't know, Ebisu. And again, okay, JDM fanboy, but you can replace Ebisu with any other small circuit. Cadwell Park, I think, maybe, if I'm not just pulling that name out of my ass. The reason I say Ebisu is because it has a shit ton of different layouts and possibilities for grip and drift. But who knows, maybe I'm just an idiot. Number 2, testing. This is an idea I had when the first Forza Horizon came out. That was the first game in the Forza series that allowed you to jump in and jump out of a session, being able to tune your car on the fly, and even switch cars if you wanted to. Now, jump to the Forza Motorsport series, and the closest thing we've ever had to that is the ability to tune your car in the pre-game lobby, which is also gone. A suggestion would be to have some sort of practice or testing mode that you're able to host. Instead of in the end conditioning being laps or timed, there's a setting called test, and that enables all those features we previously discussed. Drivers can pull into the garage and tweak their setups, much like the tune setup mode, but with another field of drivers on track. Maybe asking for outright car changes is a bit too much, but I'm sure the live tuning options will go a long way. Also, if done right, this could also work out for endurance racing. One driver pits, quits the session, another driver joins with the same car and livery, and leaves the pits in his place. I don't know, you guys are smart, you're the programmers, you guys can figure it out. I'm just the ideas man, alright? Even if we omit that half-baked endurance idea, which I still think is good, I just don't have enough time to put some thought into it, having an environment much like an online practice session will help build our community and make our setups more competitive, instead of just racing against the clock. And speaking of community, number 3. Goddamn public hosted sessions. Now listen, Mr. Turn 10, you're a bunch of smart folk. You and me, we've had our differences, alright? Past with me flinging the mud and acting like a kid towards you, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I was a kid, but I'm older now, I'm wiser now, and hopefully you guys are still watching this and just hear me out, but where in the fuck are our public hosted sessions? I'm sorry, I did it again. I'm gonna calm down, just give me a minute. But seriously though, it was such a huge part of our community, and it was the best part of Forza 4. Now, if you want to run a quick B-class race, That's what the hoppers are for. You want to do some points drifting without having to get a whole lobby full of people, making sure they join your lobby, whatever. That's what the hoppers are for. I'm not saying that we should scrap the hopper system, not at all. I love the hopper system, actually, but it's not nearly as community-driven and, what's the word, bringy togethery as the public hosted lobbies. Let me tell you a story, you kids. Me being a little baby Aero, I was 12 or 13 at the time, hurled myself into the void that was Forza 2 drifting. Because of the hosted sessions and of the forums, I made lifelong friends that I'm still extremely close with to this day, and hell, maybe I'm flying halfway across the fucking continent to go see them in a couple of months. Besides the community aspect, it's just fun. You want to run an A-class lobby, but lock it to one drive type or one manufacturer, but have a bunch of people join who have the like-minded interests as you? That's what hosted sessions are for. Want to do an A-class race, but no leaderboard cars to keep things a little bit more interesting? Hosted. Tandem drifting only? Hosted. I don't know, this one seems pretty self-explanatory. Also, it's kind of embarrassing on turn 10's part to remove something and then add it again twice, but I feel as long as it stays this time, you guys can get a pass on that one. Number 4, the upgrade system. Now, I have to thank a lot of people in my Discord for helping me with the ideas for this section. I'm also sure that I'll forget to mention something that you, the viewer, wants to see in this category. So, I don't know, call me an idiot or something in the comments. I'm also going to try to rapid fire through these, because if I went in depth with every point, we'd be here for a month. But here we go. We need to keep wide bodies in the game for Forza Motorsport. They're not just aesthetic, they widen the track for car and allow for a wider tire size, and both are good things because race car. Not every car can have wide bodies or flared arches, whatever you want to call them, I get that, but there's no reason to toss out the hard work that Playground did to secure these licenses and do all the modeling like they did in Horizon 3, just for the silly elitism that Rocket Bunny doesn't belong in a Forza Motorsport game. Alright, cool, maybe you're right, but give us the wider arches so I can put a 315 tire on my S chassis, please. Steering knuckles, spacers, more steering lock. It's also good for drifters, but also really good with making rally cars or tight build courses, or like there's other reasons for it. I don't know, man. They have a purpose. It's not just the stench nation kids wanting their car to be hella flush. There's an actual purpose to all these modifications. Maybe bring back the tire manufacturers from Forza 2. Yokohamas get more grip than Falcons, for example. I don't know if that's true, but are maybe twitchier and then have a shorter lifespan? That was such a cool and unique thing from Forza 2 that I kind of sort of miss. And then maybe you can do something for similar upgrades, like the AEM intake gives you more power on the low end, but the InGen 1 does better up top. I don't know, these are just ideas. Something you guys have to think about when you're developing either Forza 7 or Forza 8. Don't know how long you are in the development cycle. Anywho, speaking of tires, having different tire types on such as Sport Hard or Sport Soft, and the ability to mix those tires up on our cars. So like if I want to have soft tires on my rear end and medium tires on my front end, that'd be pretty cool. Before I go on about more wheels, more bumpers, more wheels, bumpers, I just want to say, let's put in more wheels and more bumpers, all right? But like not just more bumpers for new cars. I understand that like the FT86 has 3,742 bumper combinations, but the S13 Civic has 2, and they're both from the same company, which is Origin. There was much more back in the day of the other games, but they were removed along the way. Like, it's cool to have stuff on the newer cars, but even though the car is old and we still have those 2 Origin bumpers, there are still people making newer kits and newer bumper styles which update the car's look. And I understand this is more like kind of aesthetic and it's not as important, but like please? It'd be a game changer for people like me and a lot of people. And maybe if you go into the extra mile and add downforce to these different parts, maybe like a different rear bumper has a diffuser on it and get more downforce. I said downforce, I meant downforce. We'll leave that in the video. Why not? Fuck it, I make the rules here. And I mean more customization in general. Why don't we have option 1 window banners and stickers on the side of our windows? Yet it's beyond me. Forza, to me, is all about creation and community. That's why I switched from Gran Turismo. The act of livery making and customization gave the game kind of a soul that Gran Turismo didn't really have at the time. It was more focused on cold, calculated realism. So, Forza, let your creators create, damn it! Number 5, career progression. Alright, let's be real here. When's the last time you completed a Forza Motorsport career? For me, it was Forza 3, but I only really got about 80% of the way through it. I was so close to finishing it, I really didn't want to admit it from this list. And Forza 2, I completed the whole way through. Afterwards, Turn 10 decided to let you forge your own path through the career mode and run whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. Which, I mean, is cool if you're from GameSpot or IGN and you're a complete fucking idiot and you only play the game for 15 seconds, you give it your score and you never touch it again. You get to play with all your cool F1 cars and your LMP cars and crash into walls, and that's all fine and good, but it takes away the purpose of a career. The whole point of a career in real motorsports is you start it with $3, some Burger King coupons, some sort of shit box that you have to scratch and claw your way to earn reputation and money to progress in a more faster and respected series. And I understand maybe that idea, maybe that concept is a little bit too full-fledged and arcadey for Forza at this point, but hear me out. Leave all the cars unlocked to buy from the start. If I want to buy a Zonda, I can drive it online, free roam, whatever, hang out with my friends, put some cool wheels on it, but when it comes to my career, I want to be strangled on what I can use. Maybe make everything free in single player. It doesn't take much to earn a few million in Forza anyway, and after that, really money is no object, so why not just skip that altogether? If I want to fully upgrade my Ferrari day one, let me do it. I want to put 10,000 million horsepower in it and be able to see how fast it goes around a track. But in my career mode, lock me to that crummy Toyota Yaris and make me grind through a championship to buy better parts to win the faster championships, and then I can buy some sort of Mustang thingy and keep going from there. That's the good stuff. Give me a sense of purpose to jump the ludicrous amount of hours that the racing game of this caliber demands to complete such an extensive and intricate career. Force me to drive cars that I may not drive if I had the current model of, I don't know, just do whatever you want. Don't get me wrong, I get why they have it. Maybe I'm just a bondage freak and I like being handcuffed and shackled for the sense of long-term investment and fun. In my opinion, Turn 10 needs to step back, stop focusing on trying to get those 8 or 9, 10 review scores that they're going to get anyway, and think about what can keep people playing their title through the DLC cycle and beyond. For some people, multiplayer is not going to cut it, and for that way, I think we should make the single player a little bit more interesting. In conclusion, Turn 10, my friends, my little love child babies, I love you guys. Your game has given me my drifty friends, it's my YouTube audience, and the ability to tell people that I'm good at something. Like, can't really trade that for anything. But when you love something, you have to look at it objectively and be able to say, hey, yeah, that could be better. And I think that with these features, among others, implemented into future titles, maybe not Forza 7, updates for Forza 7, Forza 8, I don't know what your timeline is, Forza could not only be a console seller, but you'll be able to get rid of that arguably word that people use when they're discussing the greatest racing franchises of all time. Okay, that took way longer than I wanted it to, but yeah, that was my top 5. Is there anything that I missed? Let me know in the comments, and let's have a discussion. Let's get talking. Or maybe hit me up on Twitter at AeroTech. I like to post crap over there. That's fun. Anyway, guys, I want to do more videos like this, so if you want to see a topic that you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comments below. I read everything. Share this video. Like this video. I really want this video to do well, and I can't do that without your guys' support. That sounds really awful and YouTuber and cheesy, but it's true. I love you guys. I've been MrAeroHD, and I'll see you soon.